Hey guys, welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. Today's game on the tabletop is called Epoch, The Awakening. Epoch, The Awakening is for 2 to 4 players, approximately 60 to 90 minutes to play, ages 15 and up. In Epoch, The Awakening, it is a resource management, area control worker placement style game, and you have crash landed or have befallen onto this deserted island, other than a couple companions that you're around with. And you're basically trying to, rewrite your own story and start again in this deserted place where magic once was and now is only left with monsters and deserted palaces and the like. It's kind of like Path of Exile, where you've just kind of washed ashore and you're kind of restarting your life in a new way. And it brings a lot of that to the table. Also, you're going to be getting certain cards to start the game with, as well as things like influence, as well as conviction and potential with these player boards. They will indicate what you can do on your turn as far as actions go. A really interesting game that has a beautiful little board as well as a lot of options. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so this is the world of Epoch. This is the island, like the starter island, where you're going to get washed up on shore on one of these spaces here. This is the honor track or the point track, along with the end of game trigger markers here that get pulled off after the first person gets to them. You also start with a player board right here, along with the potential track, which you get 9 on, and the influence track you get 9 on, as well as there's a conviction track right there. These over here are going to be things that you can acquire throughout the game to gain you potential points at the end, as well as player reference cards that have a front and a back, which feature map tiles and the turns. You also are going to get a baggie filled with locations where you'll be placing them down as you move across the board. This one's an ancient tomb, and let's see what this one is here. This is an academy. So as you move around the board, you'll be drawing from this randomly. You're going to each get a mount, and you start off with the 2, so you get to actually move 2 spaces throughout the game until you upgrade to the higher mounts, 3, 4, and then 5 over here. Over here are cards. You're going to start with 2 triggers for the game, which means how the game is going to end, along with everybody's going to get a journey card indicating what they're going to get as far as resources go and where they start on the board, and what companion they'll be getting. This over here is a player icon or player card, which is basically like a companion, but it's actually just you, and you can use this action on your turn to gain one of these different things. These different things are located over here. You have inspiration, courage, strength, vision, knowledge, and wisdom. Also, the last thing to note is that other than the rule book, is that you're going to be getting these little things at the end of the game. These are how you gain more points, and based on how many different influence markers you have on these locations, as well as these things here which indicate influence, you'll be getting points. 6 points for yellow, 9 for orange, and 9 for purple. And otherwise, that is pretty much all you get for the game. Quite a bit. A little track influence markers here. But yep, that's it. Alright guys, so you've landed on the land of Epoch and you're ready to begin the game. The first thing you need to do is pull 2 trigger cards off the trigger deck. These triggers will indicate when the next round or the last round of the game begins. First of all, we have Heroism, which says whenever a player has 2 or more of each attribute, then the next round is going to be the last round. You place that face up, along with this one, which is Companions. And if you got 5 or more companions on your board at any point in time, then the next round triggers the last round and points are scored. Also, you've got on your honor track, you've got these little point markers, which indicates whenever you go past 20, 30, 40, or 50, you're going to be taking these off the board as soon as you cross them. And then you're going to pull a new trigger. When you pull a new trigger, you place it face up on the board, and if you'd like, you can spend 3 attribute points to remove any trigger on the board from the game. After you've gone ahead and done that, each player will get a journey and a player card. The player card is simply something that allows you to activate them to use their ability to gain any of these different attributes. And the journey card indicates where you start on the game, so it could be 9 or it could be 5 or 6, as well as what attribute you start with and what companion you start with. Depending on the companion color will determine what of these attributes you remove and actually place on your conviction track for 1 free conviction of that color. After you've gone ahead and set up everything, each player has done that, then you will begin the game by starting off with whoever starts first, and you can do a couple actions. There is activating yourself or a companion, where you simply will take influence off of your track and put it on a companion or yourself to use that specific ability of the card. Or you could travel, and based on your speed, which will be indicated on these little speed cards here, and you start off with 2, and you can upgrade till you get to 5. You move around the board, and as you move around the board, you're going to collect different tile spaces from the bag here randomly and place them down. Also, you could activate a tile or upgrade a block. If you activate a tile, you're going to be, just as you walk around and you stop, you can choose any space around you to activate and do whatever that ability on the tile says. To activate or upgrade a block, you'll simply move something from potential to your influence or influence to your conviction. You could do that as well. Also, you get free actions, and free actions will let you move certain colors from the board, one on each side of the color, to gain a new color. So for instance, you can do blue and yellow and make it go into green or something of that combination. I'll show you more when we get down on the board. After you've done all your actions and your free actions that you want to do, then you move on to your next player's turn until somebody activates one of these trigger cards, which signals the end of the game. You get one more round, and then you tally the points. All right, let me show you what a couple turns of the game look like. Okay, so now we're going to start off with the first turns of the game after we've activated the triggers here. They're right there. Everybody's got their player card as well as their journey card and their movement tile. We're going to start with this guy over here to pull all his stuff on the board. The first thing it says is put his character on 9. There he is, right off the shore, because that's where he fell off at. And then we got 3 extra blocks here, and we have yellow, blue, and red. So here's yellow and blue and red. We put one on each of there. As well as we get a free red companion card. Oop, and we just put it here and flip it over. Now we can use that guy if we want to activate him. Also, when we place that red companion card, we're going to take off the red strength icon here and place it over on his conviction. Now we go to the other character over here, the player. He's got one for 12, so we place him on 12. Yellow, blue, and red. So these 3 go on yellow, go on blue, go on red. And he also gets a red companion, placing it over here. And we take off his 4 red, and it goes to his conviction. Now the game's set up, and we'll have purple go ahead and go first. Now, like I said before, he gets a couple things he can do. He can activate himself or a companion, travel, act on a map tile, or upgrade a block. He can do any of those things in any order he wants. And the first thing he's going to do is move. He can move 2 based on his base movement here, which can be upgraded, and we'll just go ahead and move 2 spaces. And as he moves, we're going to be placing tiles down on locations that are adjacent to him. So here's a yellow one right here. And we got a purple. And a white. Here we'll move once, and we got another one. So here are a bunch of different locations, and luckily at the back of these map tiles of this reference card, it tells you what all of the things do. For the purple, it's an arcane tower. You can collect arcane cards, which are over here. For this one over here, it says that it's a monastery, and you can upgrade a block for each knowledge you use. And this one over here is a shrine. Return 2 blocks from companions for each inspiration used. So that's nice too. You can pull off blocks, which I'll show you in a bit. We're just going to see what we can do here. Okay, so actually we will do the monastery. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to upgrade a block for each knowledge we use. So over here is the knowledge pool, and we've got 1 there. So we'll use 1 knowledge, and we'll turn it back to the influence. Whenever you pull one of your attributes away, it goes straight back to your influence, unless it says otherwise on a card or on a space. Then we get to upgrade a block. We can upgrade a block by either moving it from potential to influence or from influence to conviction. Now, conviction is going to let you gain locations if you use these blocks, and potential to influence will let you use more, basically more stuff on your turn. You'll have more abilities to use certain things. So we're just going to move this and put it over there. So he's gone ahead and done that. He's gone ahead and used his, he's acted on a map tile, and he has moved. So he can now activate himself for a companion. Well, his companion over here says, you can add 3 extra influence on Zan. If you do, activate an additional companion. Well, we don't have an additional companion right now, so we're not going to do that. If we were to, though, we would simply put 1 purple right here onto him, and then we would get 2 reds by placing 2 of these guys here, and then we'd be able to activate an extra companion, provided that we spent 3 additional influence on this guy. So we would in turn spend 4 here. But we're not going to do that. No extra companion. No need for red right now. So we're just going to activate ourselves, and when we activate ourselves, it's basically for free. We can just say, I'm going to activate myself, placing 1 influence on either yellow, blue, or red. Where do I want to place? Let's go ahead and place on yellow. Alright, so his turn is now done, unless he'd like to do his heroic conversion. And you see on here, it tells you how you can convert. Yellow and red here will convert to orange, and blue and yellow to green, and red and blue into purple. So if I wanted to, I can convert this yellow and red into orange by removing 1 of each, and this goes back to here, and putting 1 on courage. But we're not going to do that. I don't want to do that. So we would end our turn, and it'd be the next player's turn. The next player is going to go ahead and start off by moving. 1. This is 2 movement, but we're going to place all his locations down as he moves. Maybe we'll see something that we like. And we'll move 1 more time. There we go. We've discovered an inn. That's sweet. We want to get somebody from the inn, so we're going to try and do our actions in a different way. So we've done our traveling, we've placed our locations down. We can do a free action, which I think we're going to do. We're going to use ourselves. Then we could use our companion. Let's see what he does. He says this turn, if you control a map location, gain 1 victory point. That's okay. You know what, we will do that. We're going to do that. We're going to activate him. That will give we put 1 on him. That will activate us getting 2 red. So we place this 2 red there. And it says that we gain 1 point if we control a map location. We don't control one, though, because that requires conviction. So we're just going to get those 2 reds, though. What we're going to do with those 2 reds is we're going to activate a map location or a tile location. By spending 2 strength, we actually will go ahead and get a companion over here, and all companions cost 2, so we just get 1 and we flip it over, and it gives us victory points. In the top right hand corner of all cards will indicate how many victory points we get, and as soon as we get them, we go ahead and move up the track. Where are we? Okay, 1 and 2. So we've traveled, we've acted on a map tile, which was the inn, and we have activated ourself or companion, the companion. And those are how the turns go throughout the game. Now, another important factor that I didn't mention, because the board is so big and it takes up almost my entire table, was that when you discover an inn or any of the other things like the trait area, the relic area, or the monster area, you're actually going to flip over those cards from that specific card deck. So you'll actually have the option of choosing a face-up card right next to the deck, or blind picking. Now, I just blind picked in that example, but in the real game, you're going to be actually getting an option to choose between any of the relics that have been discovered already by looking around on the locations, as well as any of the companions as well. So that would give you the option of choosing any of those guys that are on there, or if you don't want the specific characters, maybe you want to just try your blind luck and pull one from the deck. Okay, so fast forwarding into the future now, we've placed down all the tiles here. We've got an increase in points for everybody, as well as some new stuff and a lot more points in the attribute area. We're just going to talk about a couple basics of the game that need to be talked about. First of all, we'll just say that it's Orange's turn and he wants to activate the Escaping Maw, which is where you're going to get fight monsters. All you got to do is spend 2 orange, where is it? Here. 2 courage. And this will go back to your influence. And then you flip over this monster tile, and it'll tell you what to do. This one says roll both dice. When you roll both of these dice, you do what the dice say. This says you get 1 yellow, so you just put 1 here onto inspiration. And this one over here, this specific thing says every single one of your companions gets 1 additional influence, which makes it harder for you to get those back because you want influence. It's basically a resource. The other one here says that a companion dies, and then you've got a blank that does nothing. After you've done that, you gain this monster and you get its point total at the end of the game. You'll also gain the points for the monster instantly. Alright, let's move on to a couple other things. We'll talk about the conviction, okay? So when you've got your conviction, orange has 2 and purple has 1. If orange wanted to, instead of fighting the monster, he could try and secure a location. And that's basically the same as a tile action, in which case you'll just take a conviction and then you'll place it on a location. So how about... oh, we can't do it because you can't. There's 3 tiles you cannot do. You cannot control, which are they're over here. You got the Arcane Tower, Ancient Tomb, and the Gaping Maw, and he already has the Fort. The tiles you can control are the ones that have points. So actually, we'll go ahead and try purple. Purple is actually in a location we can do that, like the library here. All you got to do is spend the conviction, place it here. You gain 3 points. Move up the board 3 points. As well as whenever somebody tries to use this location, he gets 3 points. In addition to, if anybody wants to take control of this location, if orange was here, he'd have to actually spend 2 conviction to do so, then he would gain the points. So that could be something that could be done. Also, we'll let you know that anytime you want to use any of these cards, if you want to gain a trait, a relic, or a monster, it's going to cost 2 of the specific attribute based on the color. So green is wisdom for traits, purple is vision for relics, and orange is courage for monsters. And you'll be pulling these off. And you're going to continue going around the board to upgrading your guys, or in upgrading your, actually you can upgrade your mount here. So if I was over here, we'll talk about this a little bit. If I was over here, there's a command post which is -3 on red, which I only have 2, but let's just say I had 3, right? We could remove these 3, and it says upgrade your horse, and you would just simply upgrade it from whatever it was from 2 to 3, and it has points there, and you would gain those points. See how it's going along? Boop. Okay, we moved past one of these things, so as you know, we're going to take this off the board. We're going to grab a trigger. It's a new one, and this is when a player attains 6 or more of 1 greater heroic attribute. The round becomes the final round. Okay, so I could choose if I wanted to spend 3 traits. Maybe I could pull off 3 of these guys here. and I could remove one of these if I think somebody's catching up to ending the game and I'm still far behind. But actually, I'm not too far behind. Actually, I'm winning as purple, so maybe I wouldn't want to do that. I just put another trigger down, which would foreclose the end of the game even sooner. But you continue playing until one of these triggers goes off, and when that happens, you tally up the points. And that's the end of the game. Let me talk to you about the scoring. Alright, so the end of game trigger happened, and you all had one more round. Then we're going to do scoring. Now, scoring is a little bit complicated, so let me get you through it. First of all, we have proficiency tiles, and these things you get throughout the game, which we didn't talk about that much, because it's simply this. If you wanted a blue one of these guys, you would have to have these 3 attributes. So you can do it, you can remove these 3 attributes to gain these tiles, which would basically count as 3 blue at the end of the game. As well as monsters, you get the points instantly, and whenever you gain honor from the points up here on the top right hand part of the card, you actually gain the honor instantly on the board. However, at the bottom of most monster cards, it tells you gain points based on doing certain things. This one says at the end of the game you get +2 honor for every single one of these you have, and every single one of the orange proficiency cards you have. Also, you're going to gain bonuses from these things here. These are basically, it's indicated by how many cards of the specific color you have. So this is green. So how many green companions you have, as well, or sorry, green traits that you have, as well as all the green little attributes you have on the circular areas in the board. Whoever has the most will get this and gain additional bonus points. And you'll do that for every single one of these colors. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All the honor gets tallied up throughout the game, and there's a couple bonuses there. But after that, you add up all the points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, so Epoch the Awakening has a lot of rules and a lot of things you can do, and it's kind of broken down into simple steps, and there's probably about 3 or 4 main things you do on your turn. What's nice is it has a large variety of little things that are involved that don't make it too complicated, but increase your odds of victory the more you can grasp the game. I also like the fact that when you start the game, you're going to be starting on a random location, as well as getting random element acumen, so whatever you want to say. You're all gaining the same basically attributes and stuff like that. They're just a little different, so it kind of changes your strategy every single time you play, as well as the fact that you get this nice little bag here which will indicate all the different locations, and it comes with a location for every single spot on the map. Hopefully, I mean, that's a good thing, right? The art on the game is great, and this prototype is wonderful. This game looks so good. I cannot wait to see what the game is going to look like when it is fully funded, and it should be fully funded. I also like the fact that you got different companions that all have different colors, and those colors are influenced on points at the end of the game, as well as the trait cards all do something different. The trait, upgrade 1 block whenever you acquire a card, or relics, which say you can place certain pieces of the influence on here, and each turn you can remove one and redistribute all your different attributes on the board. That's really cool too. As well as monsters. Monsters give you additional points at the end of the game and a chunk load of points to start with, but at the cost of either losing different things. Like you could lose a companion, or all your companions could be stuck with a bunch of influence, and you have to pull those influences off. I also like the fact that you've got so many journey cards, and they're just basically how you start the game off. And there's only 4 players in the game, but you're always going to be getting something different with them. The difference in companions is really cool, and I can't really say a lot of negatives about this game. I mean, other than the fact that it's pretty complicated and the setup is a little bit of time, as well as understanding the rules. So you're going to need somebody who's strategically minded, likes area control, likes to allocate resources and that kind of stuff. You'll know if this game seems like it's right for you. It's one of those things where you just see it and you go, oh, I like that game, or oh, you know what, that's just a little too much. Even the dice aspect, but there's not a lot of luck in this game. Most of this game is complete strategy, and the dice do not affect the amount of luck in the game almost at all, other than potentially losing a couple companions. Pulling off these proficiency things are really cool too. You can start storing stuff, and you go, oh, I've stored too much. Maybe I want to bring them back to me, so I can actually just hold these into my hand, into my area as well, so I can get more points at the end of the game. And adding those monsters that give you additional points kind of changes your strategy as you play the game. Also, there's different effects on the boards too that do different things. I didn't talk about a lot of these tiles because I want you guys to go ahead and experience all the different things that you can do in the game, because there's quite a bit. This game is wonderful. I really, really like it. And I know if you've seen it and it even tickles your fancy a little bit, I would definitely suggest checking out the Kickstarter for the campaign. Wonderful game. I am giving it my seal of approval. Bam! And I think you should check it out. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. If you like this video and like to see more, go ahead and check out the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. Also, if Epoch the Awakening is something that sounds interesting to you, description below. Check it out on Kickstarter. Alright guys, as well as checking out unfilteredgamer.com. We got tons of blog posts, giveaways, a Kickstarter list that has all the different Kickstarters going up right now. Tons of great games there. Just go to the list, find the game you want, click on it, see if you like it, see if you want to back it. That said, we also have some affiliated sites, people that work with us and stuff. You got everythingboardgames.com, The Giveaway Geek, and DevitoastGaming.com. Alright guys, thanks for watching another review, and once again, I look forward to see you next time.